I'm trying to listen and understand that. But you know what? At the end of the day, I mean, she's 14 years old. She can communicate in English, right? She can walk, open a door. I mean, I try to net it out, but sometimes, I'm in a hurry and I just don't want to deal with it, right? But and
Right.
that's just the real basic. But
Mhm.
like you said, no, she can do that, and then even more so. I do have to say that yes, I did not do their what they used to have, like country reports they had to do, and I mean some of them would come in at school and they'd be so nice, you knew for sure the parents did it,
Mhm.
and the kids are like in fourth grade, they it's not like they're going to know how to make a perfect square that's completely jeweled and all of that, but I wouldn't do that part. But you do, you have to, how are you going to learn, is the
Right.
bottom line, is what you were saying. How would you learn, and what would be the value of you being in, Campfire Girls, and getting credit for an accomplishment that you didn't do yourself?
Exactly. And, we did a lot of reports as a child, at school, and I had to make elaborate, back then in the, 70s in grade school, you had to really work hard. It seemed like maybe harder than they have to now on, some things, but you had to actually handwrite the report. You didn't type it. And my mom would spend hours with me. And if my handwriting wasn't up to snuff, she made me rewrite it. and she made, she
Yes.
instilled that in me to do my best, not just slap it together, and actually care about what I was doing. And again, that's so important. And it sparked a lot of creativity also, because I had to, I don't know, I had to come up with creative ways to get the point across. I didn't plagiarize. It was very good to have that. Like I said, I really appreciate that she was hard on me in that way.
I love that, and I really appreciate the stories that you put in your book. It is about you, about your upbringing, and then you bring in full circle to, as you said, you've been in insurance for many years as a seasoned professional that way. Although you look like you're 20 something and you're gorgeous modeling pictures, so I can be jealous of you as long as I tell you that, right? You're just gorgeous. And we will put in the podcast, we'll put the information for people to connect, and then they can see your gorgeous pictures as well. But I appreciate, about the It Is About You book, that it is those, you say the 10 ways to be, stronger. And then really the key for me is I just love that happier. And I think at the end of the day, we don't all just wake up happy, everything is fantastic. We're in this, what we worked for, we achieved that whole ideal. As we get older, we have reality set in, and we know that, maybe those things that we were trying to achieve really wasn't what we wanted, or they weren't the best for us. And I love that talk about, really, you talk about in your book where you are right now, where a person is right now, how to be happier, in that place, and how to not be distracted. So again, it's just a wonderful business inspirational book. It is about you. So just obviously I can't say enough about it. Okay, well, we are going to get to our question. So our question of our podcast, Paulee, is to ask you to share with our listeners what no one knows. Possibly very few humans in this world know it, and it can be in your book or it can be outside your book. We're just asking you to share something with our audience, listeners now, of what no one knows.
Okay. So, and it may seem like a small thing, but it was really a cool thing that happened. I had years ago when I lived in Kansas, and it was so cold, miserably cold, and it was a Sunday morning before church, and I had this extra jacket, this beautiful light blue jacket I had not worn, and I had purchased it, and I wasn't sure why. I thought, that's a different color than what I usually wear, and so I purchased this beautiful coat, and so I was going to church one morning, and I was wearing a different coat, and something told me that I need to take that jacket with me, this beautiful little jacket. And of course, I'm so small, like I can wear kids' sizes. So it was tiny. So I took it to church, and there was a single mother there, and one of her daughters, who was pretty close to my size, was wearing like a windbreaker. And when I say cold, the high was 10 degrees that day.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
not wind chill. It was miserable. It
Oh
was
my
so
gosh.
cold. It was sunny, but it was, I mean, bone chilling, beyond bone chilling. And I thought, why is she wearing a windbreaker? So I went out and I got that coat and I brought it in and I just handed it to her. It's like the Holy Spirit led me to do that. And so I handed it to her, and her mom looked at me and she said, why did you do that? And she said, how did you know? I said, how did I know what? She said, we saw that coat the couple weeks ago at the store, and I couldn't afford it right then because I'm waiting on child support. And I said, well, it's meant to be. It's for her. And she put it on and she was so happy. And I cried tears of joy. I was so happy that I'd done something good, and that little girl loved that jacket so much. I mean, that made my week. And I'm a firm believer in when you're sad. And here's the other thing, I had just lost my dad the month prior, and he died from cancer. So I had been pretty down. I was really down. And so I'm a firm believer in when you get really down and wrapped up in yourself and your grief, if you can do something nice for somebody else, it helps everybody.
It absolutely does. It does. That's one of my most favorite stories now. See how you are? Of all of our podcasts, that's one of my most favorite What No One Knows stories. I love that. And I didn't expect the twist in it that they had seen that coat.
I know. I was shocked.
Right?
The look on her face. She was like, how did you know?
Well, and to me, I mean, as you know, I'm a believer. I'm a woman of faith in all ways of my life. And that to me is the way that God makes it unmistakably known to you. And now as you're sharing that it was his hand.
Yes.
It was one thing for you to give the coat, but the fact that they had seen that exact coat, they wanted that coat, but couldn't afford it, that, when God does things, he does in unmistakable ways, I believe. So there's no question. So thank you for sharing that story. We're getting down to the end here. Maybe just, I'd like to share with the listeners where they can actually meet you and get a signed copy. So the book is on pre-sale right now. It is aboutyoubook.com, but where you can meet Paulee, the gorgeous Paulee, beautiful inside and out, with her book, with that book, and with also Mermaid Logic, will be at the Tampa Club on November 19th in the evening. It's actually National Entrepreneurial Day, and she is one of those with her artist and her empowering. And you've got a radio show now, right? We kind of ran out of time to talk about that, but we'll put all that information as part of the post here for the podcast. But you can meet her at the collaborative book launch at the Tampa Club on the 19th. And Paulee Bowen, thank you so much for joining us and for authoring. It is about you, 10 ways that you become stronger. 10 ways that you can become stronger and happier, and your Mermaid Logic offering. Thank you so much for being part of Now's Publishing What No One Knows, the podcast.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, What No One Knows. If you have a story to share, contact Now Publishing at publish@nowscpress.com. Visit our website, publishwithnow.com, for a free download from our The 90-Day Author book, and let Now Publishing build, publish, and sell your book.